moved to Lisbon about 1.5 years ago. Ever since, it has been a rough ride. I wasn't always on the entrepreneurial path. Until I was 20 years old, I had a normal 9 to 5 job. And I was at a very low point in my life when I turned 20. I had an empty bank account and I had a very big back problem. So I was in constant back pain every day and I was broke. So I needed to change something in my life. Then in 2021, I discovered the potential of blockchain, smart contracts, and the new internet of value that is being created. And I just saw that this is the opportunity I was always looking for.
Hi, Jan. Thank you so much for coming to the live of a founder. How's it going?
Thanks for having me, Max. It's going awesome.
My pleasure. And again, thank you for your time today. So, the life of a founder is an intro into your life. So, let's start giving a picture of yourself, where you come from, and how all it started.
Yeah. So, in a nutshell, I'm Ian. I'm 25 years old. I come from northern Italy. It's the German speaking part of Italy. So, this is why I don't have the typical Italian accent. My professional background is in project management and marketing. And I moved to Lisbon about 1.5 years ago to start my company. And ever since, it has been a rough ride. And I'm very glad and looking forward to talk about my life as a founder so far here. Um, yes, so that's me in a nutshell. I think we will go into more detail with the following questions. So, yes, that's a brief introduction.
Thank you so much, Jan. Let's start with the motivation behind you being an entrepreneur.
Sure. So, I wasn't always on the entrepreneurial path until I was 20 years old. I had a normal 9 to 5 jobs. And I was at a very low point in my life when I turned 20. I had an empty bank account and I had a very big back problems. I had a problem with the disc. So I was in constant back pain every day and I was broke. So I needed to change something in my life. So I tried to do a completely 180-degree turn in my life. I started to go to the gym to educate myself about money, business, mindset. And ever since, I started multiple smaller online businesses such as e-commerce, print on demand, social media marketing, affiliate marketing. Some of them were less successful, some of them were not successful at all, but I could learn a lot. And during the past years, I tried to climb up the um, the normal work ladder, and I worked myself up to be a project manager for one of the leading affiliation companies in the gambling sector worldwide. And in the meantime, I always tried to do some side hustles, to do some online businesses on the side. And then in 2021, I discovered the potential of blockchain, smart contracts, and the new internet of value that is being created. And I just saw that this is the opportunity I was always looking for. That's the next big revolution. And I tried to find a problem that I can solve. So I joined another startup in 2021 as a co founder. It was a DeFi, decentralized financial startup. And while I was working on that startup, I tried to resolve some scalability issues of the product. And while I was doing that, I discovered the concept of Dira, the company that I founded shortly after. So the market opportunity was so big. I tried to convince my old co-founders to change the path, but due to already half-built MVP, I wasn't able to do so. And then I decided, okay, now I need to decide what I want to do. This is the opportunity that I was always looking for. So I decided to leave that startup and start Dira myself.
You had to have the courage to do this. Founders are great because they have the courage to get there, to move, and to improve what they're doing. And that's beautiful. I mean, I've been interviewing, talking the last 15 months with probably 500 founders. We are there, probably crossed. And the beauty of any founders is the having things done, having no fear to fail. Okay, I'm going, and what's going to happen? Worst scenario, we fail. So it's not that anyway. So you need to, if you believe in something, you must go. And that's it. That's my opinion. Not only been in a startup. What was the feeling when you decided, okay, I'm going my way? Did you feel scared? Did you feel excited? I don't know.
Yeah, I was very excited, but I was already also a little bit scared because of the unknown. How I felt like a captain that wants to sail into the unknown with a ship, and I still needed to hire a crew. So I almost felt like in those pirate movies where the captain is hiring crew members inside the tavern and they need to risk their life to sail with him into the unknown. So this is pretty much how I felt. I knew where I want to go. I knew how I can get there. But first I needed to convince people to go with me on that trip into the unknown and take that risk. So that's how I felt, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how can I say? Startup is navigating the unknown. It's nothing to
Yeah.
do. It's a pure unknown. It's going to be there for a while. Uh, what were the initial struggles in starting your new life as a founder?
Um, so as you can imagine, there are many struggles. I think what was the hardest thing for me, and sometimes it still is to prioritize what task now has the biggest ROI, what now brings us forward the fastest. Because as a startup founder, especially at the beginning, you need to do everything. You do a lot of different things from different departments, from different sectors of the company. And sometimes it's hard to identify how my time now is being utilized the best. Should I work now on this? Should I work now on this? Should I work now on strategy? Should I work now more on this executional thing? So to know what brings me now the fastest forward, that was at the beginning a big struggle. I got better, but I still sometimes um, I still need to improve a little bit on this one. Let's say like this. So that's still a little bit of a challenge sometimes.
What has been the impact? Be a founder is different than working, be an employee. The number, especially at the very beginning, the number of hours that you're working are uncountable. You feel working 14, 15, 16 hours per day. And you don't feel the tiredness because you're excited and you want to go. But the impact on the life is strong. So I was in your life, bad or good? Did you feel overwhelmed? No time for friends, no time maybe for your girlfriend, partner, whatever it is, family.
Yeah. So the life changed dramatically. If you would ask some of my um, childhood friends and old friends, they say as soon as I started the company, I wasn't there anymore. You know, you don't have that much time because you are dedicated, and this is the only thing that really fulfills you. Then you spend most of the day doing this. Um, I did find a way to balance it out so that I can still have some social life because otherwise you run into a burnout. But how my life changed in the end, I um, went from working 8 to 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, to working 16, 17 hours a day. So, of course, the social and the personal life yeah, takes a hit if you do that. So that was the biggest change in my life. So all I did was basically working, training, educating myself about some other mindset, personal development, just getting knowledge in. And then I also tried to have spend some time with my friends and my girlfriend at the time. But yeah, those two things they were the last on the list basically.
I mean, there is no way in somehow we have only 24 hours, so in some way you must do something, right? That's the balance. What's your day-to-day routine? Do you have a routine? I give myself a lot of routine. I try to get, not always possible.
Yeah.
Do you have a routine that keeps you in balance?
Yeah, I always try to reshape and rework my routine. At the moment, I wake up at 7. I drink a lot of water. I do a mobility routine for a couple of minutes. Then usually I start with a working task. I train every day, usually at the first part of the day. I fast until the evening. I usually eat my first meal around 5, 6, 7. Until that time, I usually spend my day working through my task list. And I also try to get in some workouts. I do a lot of martial arts and a lot of body training. So when I work for 2, 3 to 4 hours straight, it's better for me if I take half an hour off, get some exercise in, and go back to the desk. So I do have some training modules, like a few exercises that I can put into between different tasks. Maybe they do some are 10 minutes, some are 20, some are 30. So I basically spend the day until the evening working and exercising. And in the evening, I try to have 1, 2 hours with some friends for some social life. And then in the late evening, I start working again on Dira until I'm tired, and then I go to bed. So I have everything. I have work, I have exercise, and I have social life. And in between, I have a big task list of things that I need to do every day. There are things like meditation, breathing exercises, pelvic floor exercises. Yeah, some smaller things that I need to tick every day.
You are not eating until 5 o'clock.
Yeah, sometimes 7, 8 even. Yeah.
Whoa, that's quite unique. I mean, I heard many, but trying to give, but this is pretty strong. No, you must be very mindset to do something similar.
Well, I just experienced that it works well better for me because if I don't eat, my mind is much more switched on. I can work way better, and I spend less time during the day. Because if you eat 3 times a day, you spend probably 2 hours at least eating a day. If you eat one time a day, you just spend 1 hour. So you have 1 hour more, and I'm much more energetic because if I eat, I'm tired. If I don't eat, and I also need to be honest, I see my Italian and the Turkish roots in here. I do help myself with coffee a lot. So I drink a lot of black coffee throughout the day that keeps the hunger away and keeps me energized so I can work better.
My father eats one per day. It's almost 80. He's doing pretty well, so it works well. Uh, did you ever thought I'm the most unqualified founder, and there's no way I will be a good CEO one day. I'm not even sure if I get what I want.
Well, I thought I'm probably one of the most unqualified founders on paper, but how can I say this that it sounds good? Let's say I know that I can accomplish things and I can learn almost any skill and task. So I know that if I put my effort into it, um, I will be qualified enough at some point, but I'm aware of the work and struggle that I need to go through. But let's say it like this: I trust it. I believe in myself.
That's extremely important. You must believe in yourself. Regardless of what's going to happen, if you lose belief, it's the end. Hope and
Yeah,
beliefs, right? This is what keeps you going. And
this
what do you enjoy the most in what you're doing now?
um, many things. What I enjoy doing the most is I'm very a social person. I like to speak with other people. I like to communicate. So for me, um, what I enjoy doing the most as a founder is actually going to conferences, speaking with other founders, speaking with investors, speaking with partners, representing my company, talking about my company, talking about other companies, talking about potential partnerships. So all those interpersonal communication that you have as a founder between other founders and potential partners, that's what I like doing the most. And also to be on the strategic side. I like to sit down and think, okay, if this happens, how can we overcome this issue? If a new competitor pops up, a direct competitor, how can we outperform them? So to solve problems before they happen on the strategic side, that's also what I really like doing. So those two things, strategy and communication.
Did you ever think about failure?
Of course, I think about failure all the time. Um, because the way how I look at it, I think like this. If I think about failure, I don't think about why I can't do something. I think what could be a potential problem that could lead to a failure, but the thought process needs to end up in multiple options on how we could overcome this issue. So it should end up in several business strategies or marketing strategies on how to overcome a potential failure. But yes, I think as a founder and as a CEO, it's very important to always keep a potential failure in mind and always look out for potential factors that could lead to a failure so that you're prepared once they happen.
I mean, failure is there. We know perfectly well that 1 out of 10 startups at least fail. So we need to cope with the reality, try to not be there, to be the 1%. In a difficult time, how do you keep going and motivating yourself?
But my mindset is that if times are difficult, I try to not rely on motivation, I try to rely on discipline. Because if motivation is there, it's easy, you're motivated. But if motivation fades away, it comes down to discipline. And for me, discipline is doing things that you hate, but do it like you love it. So I try to work out of discipline because then I know that even if the motivation is gone tomorrow, I'm still gonna sit down, still gonna do my thing, still gonna hustle, still gonna work through, still gonna overcome the problems. But if I work out of motivation, if this is gone, then I have nothing left. So my mindset is like this: if motivation is here, great. But if not, you need to work out of discipline.
I mean, outside your working time, which is pretty much a lot of your day, what do you like to do? How do you spend your spare time?
Yeah, as I said, I like to do a lot of sports. I do multiple martial arts, and I also spend a lot of time doing weight training and high intensity workouts, and just to build a healthy and robust body. If I don't do that, I usually spend the rest of my free time socializing with some friends or family. So yeah, I really try to reduce my free time to those two things. But to be honest, I don't really calculate exercising as free time because of my past. I had a lot of back issues and back pain due to not exercising. So I realized if I wanna become the person that I need to be, I need to have a healthy body. So I in my brain I calculate exercise as the same um, time like working that I cannot deduct from my day. I need to do it. So every day I need to work and I need to work out.
I'm with you. I completely agree that for having a strong mind, you need to have a strong body, and vice versa. They complete each other. And exercise is very good. It's very good for the brain and for the health. So you can only perform better. Uh, what's your take on the today tech ecosystem? Do you think founders must work to make this world a better place to live?
Yeah, I think that we are seeing a lot of disruption in the tech ecosystem in the last years. I think we had a lot of change and disruption during the 2000s when the internet became a big thing, and then it went off a little bit. I do think that in the last 2 to 3 years, with advancements in AI, robotics, blockchain, DLTs, we are in front of a time with a lot of disruption, revolution in any technology. So I think it's a very critical phase for tech entrepreneurs, but for humanity as a whole. So I do think that there are many things that need to be improved and many problems that need to be solved that can be solved right now with the technology we have. Now we as a founders and we as startups just need to put in the effort and the work to build the products to solve those issues. I do see a lot of opportunity.
Do you think we do enough in tech to fix what actually is very much needed, not only to be chasing money, chasing success, understand, that's fine. But do we do enough to fix real problems like climate change, like inclusion, and so on? There is so much to do.
Mhm. Well, the question is what is enough? In my opinion, we don't do enough yet, especially in those areas. But as I said, I do see a lot of opportunity, and I do also think that with certain business models, you can solve those issues without directly addressing the market. For example, in the long run, what we do at DIRA, we deduct 10% of the profits and put them into the DIRA Impact Fund. This will not be this not in the first years. That's later on when a good profitability is reached. So we do deduct 10% of the profits, put them into the DIRA Impact Fund, and the DIRA Impact Fund invests in regenerative companies that work in the sectors nature and humanity. So this is, for example, a way how we, as a company, without being in the let's say nature or humanity sector, try to improve those sectors by allocating some of our profits in there. And yeah, this is just the way how our philosophy is, because we try to create value for us, for our customers, but we also want to give back a little bit to the world and try to improve the world that we're living in. Um, it's the same mentality like with the body. What's worth being successful if you don't have a good body to enjoy that? If what's worth being successful and having a good body if you don't have a world where you can enjoy those things? So yeah, that's our philosophy. We do think that many other companies could do similar things, and we also see that the trend is going into this direction. So yeah, I'm very optimistic when it comes to this.
Me having a round table with world leaders, what you said to them, we must do this and this and this because simply it's not working. I mean, I understand there are so many problems that not even say which is the most important because all of them they are just there to be fixed. It's taking so long. But the most probably urgent we have is climate change. Are you worried?
I'm worried a lot about pollution. So one of my goals in life is always and has always been to contribute to clean up the ocean and the forests, because I do see, in my opinion, one of the biggest issues that we have in nature is pollution. There are entire islands out of garbage in the ocean. They are big as some countries. If someone finds a way to recycle that plastic and sell it for a profit, then it can be solved. Because the way how I look at it, you cannot solve an issue without being profitable. The right way to solve an issue is to find a business model around it so that it's at least self-sustainable. But if the success of a certain project relies on constantly putting money into it, that's not a sustainable solution to any problem. So I would like to invest in companies that build business models around solving those issues. For example, if someone comes up and finds a way to recycle some plastic from the ocean and sell it back to the market, that's how things are treated sustainably, in my opinion. With the Zero Impact Fund, we do allocate 10% of future profits into those funds. This fund will have a dedicated fund manager that allocates those funds into regenerative companies. For example, startups that try to clean up the ocean, startups that try to recycle old plastic and resell it, startups that try to improve humanity and nature as a whole. So this is how we as company try to contribute to this and how we do our part.
What's the best book you ever read and your best author?
Ooh, um, that's a good one. Best author, probably Napoleon Hill. I'm a big fan of his work. Um, Best book, there are so many. One of the books that I always advise other new startup founders and other new entrepreneurs that try to get their life into the right direction is Make Your Bed. That's a book from an old Navy SEAL, where that old Navy SEAL describes all the things he learned throughout his training and throughout his life. And he also brings some stories of his life. So he says like those are the things how life is. And then he brings stories from his either military career or personal life where he validates his point. So it's a very generic book, but I really enjoyed it. And I really took a lot from it. I learned a lot from it.
It's a beautiful book and it's a beautiful video as well. The best movie ever watched and actor.
Well, I loved the movie Lord of War, where there's the it's based on a real story. It's a guy starting to sell weapons, and he became one of the biggest weapon dealer on the world. I really enjoyed this because just a good movie to watch. Um, Best actor, I need to say I'm a big fan of Sean Connery from the old um, James Bond. So yeah, those.
What's the lesson the best lesson that the life gave to you?
So it's always hard to spot the best. But let's say a good lesson that I learned in my life is to, I think that a good way to find success and happiness in life is to find a middle way between thinking about tomorrow and being in the present moment. The first part of my life, I was too much in the present moment and I didn't spend enough time thinking about tomorrow. And then it got a little bit into the other side. I do think that a lot of people are not at the right balance when it comes to this. Especially many startup founders are always in the future, which is also not good because in order to have a good mental health and to be 100% productive, I think you need to be able to switch between thinking about tomorrow and working right now, being in the present moment right now quite fast. So I think that to master this um, is one of the crucial aspects if someone is actually happy with his success and happy with his performance.
You said something very right, but it's not easy for everyone to be present actually. And because you can master to be present, it's something absolutely great. Many of us, we are too much ahead and we are not today. And many problems are today, and also the life is today. But what's your greatest wish?
My greatest wish in life is that I can close my eyes at the deathbed and can say to myself, I fulfilled my legacy. I can say to myself, I'm proud of what I did. There are many things in this world that I aim to, that I don't like, that I aim to change. And I also want to change myself to become a certain person. So if I can close my eyes at some point and say, okay, I either um, fulfilled my legacy and I reached my goals, or I died trying. If I have one of those two things, then I can then I'm happy. Yeah, so that's my biggest wish, that I can close my eyes and I can say, okay, Ian, you did what you thought is the best to do.
That be, I mean, I really wish you absolutely did this and one day realize that you had done everything you wanted. Let's finish with recommendation. Your recommendation to founders today, you can share with them.
My recommendation is to spend as much as possible in preparing for certain scenarios. Like this is also described in the book The Art of War by Sun Tzu, that preparation is one of the key factors of winning a battle or not. And as business is war, I would try to focus and spend a lot of effort and energy onto preparing for certain scenarios. Um, as I said before, like thinking about potential failures and about options to overcome that potential failure. So if you are prepared, then you know what to do when it happens. That's my advice.
Jan, thank you so much for taking part to the life of a founder. It's been absolutely a pleasure for me, and I really wish you all the best for your future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Max, for having me. It was great talking to you.